Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. The late summer heat sapped his strength by midday. Advanced age had made a nap each afternoon a necessity and a bit of a luxury. After laying down on the couch and closing his eyes, he was fast asleep. As the elderly man slept, the breeze filtered in through the screen door, allowing him some comfort. But the breeze going into the home meant breeze going out of it somewhere, carrying the scent of food or garbage to sensitive noses in the surrounding forest. His eyes sprung open at the sound of clattering in his kitchen. He slowly pulled himself from the couch to investigate the source of the noise. Rounding the corner, the old man came face to face with a hungry black bear who was not happy to see him. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. The remote Tennessee housing development near Sevierville is surrounded by wooded hills located only a few miles from the Great Smoky Mountain Park. On Matt Road, there are only 4 houses, separated by stands of oak, hickory, and maple trees. Along the ground, thickets of blackberry, raspberry, and elderberry bushes produce sugary fruits throughout the summer and early fall. White-tailed deer and wild turkeys navigate the brush warily. Predators that patrol the forests include clever coyotes, furry foxes, bounding bobcats, and baneful black bears. East Tennessee, with its patchwork of forest, farmland, and suburban development, has long been black bear country. Bear sightings are common in nearby wooded neighborhoods, particularly in late summer, when wild foods dwindle and human attractants like garbage cans, bird feeders, and pet food offer easy calories. Wildlife officers have occasionally responded to calls about bears raiding porches, rummaging through sheds, or getting into cars. And the elderly man, whom we will call Brad, had had his own run-ins with bears on his property recently. He had been seeing a young male black bear wandering the woods around his home. It looked to be about half-grown, and was likely booted from the territory after its mother had weaned him, and a larger male chased him from prime habitat. These young male bears are sort of like young male humans, in that they need some help in understanding how to be independent and still survive, so Brad showed the bear patience. But as young animals do, the bear began to test the boundaries a little too much. It had recently broken into Brad's shed, searching for something good to eat, or out of curiosity. When Brad confronted the bear, it was stubborn and didn't want to leave, but a fair amount of yelling and banging on things eventually convinced it to do so. That was a few days ago, and now Brad was laying down to get a little shut-eye during the heat of the early afternoon. Reclining on his couch, sleep came quickly, at least for a little while. Now, say what you want to, but leaving the door open on a hot day is almost a necessity when you don't have air conditioning, and the screen door keeps out most unwanted visitors. But as Brad slumbered, an unusual guest made its way right through his screen door and into his kitchen. Brad was jolted awake by the sound of the bear rummaging through cabinets and knocking things off the counter. He stood to his feet and ambled toward the kitchen, hoping it was only a raccoon, but was surprised to see the same young black bear that had broken into his shed. For a tense moment, the bear and the man stood and looked each other up and down, both unsure of what to do or what the other may do. Brad had guns, but wasn't prepared to face off with a bear in his own home. Brad knew that any sudden movements may scare the bear and make it react defensively. He positioned himself out of the way of all the exits the bear may want to take, and sure enough, the young bear bolted for the door. Just to encourage it to keep going and not come back, Brad yelled and stomped his feet to frighten the bear. Once outside, the bear didn't dash into the woods. It waited in Brad's yard as if he would invite it back inside for a snack. Brad knew that he didn't want this bear around anymore, and yelled in an attempt to drive the bear off, but it didn't work. The realization that this bear had become so comfortable around his property, and now was bold enough to enter it, didn't sit well with Brad. He shut the door and went into a back room to retrieve his shotgun. If that bear was still there when he got back, he'd have to do what he was previously hesitant to do. Grabbing his shotgun and shells, Brad made his way back to the door and where he'd last seen the bear. It hadn't left yet, so the man took aim and fired. The young bear piled up, having met its end, by not understanding invading a human's home was not permitted and was a death sentence. Brad knew that he would need to inform the authorities of what he had done and made a call to the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. They sent out an officer to interview the man and investigate the circumstances around the bear's death. After a lengthy discussion and a few observations, the officer noted that Brad's actions were defensive of his life and property. Killing the bear was justified and would have been required by the agency after the home invasion. Breaking down the bear's behavior is important to understand just how far off base its behavior was. When young bears feel comfortable near human development, this is a potential sign that local populations may be too high. Normally, a young male bear would be pushed out by its mother to turf surf until it found unclaimed territory to live in. Given this bear wasn't able to find a territory to claim, it made its territory amongst the homes and yards of a housing development. It may seem interesting to see a bear near your home, but a bear dependent upon humans for food is destined to a life of suffering and poor health. It would have much lower health as the food it could get was not the best suited for a bear, and it would have a higher chance of being struck by a vehicle and suffering a painful, unnatural death. It would be much better off caching animal carcasses or procreating to create more cubs. Speaking of cubs, our Cub Share membership on Patreon, linked below, will give you ad-free early access to episodes, photos, and notes. And the $3 per month goes a long way in helping me continue to produce educational and entertaining content like this. The state of Tennessee currently hosts an estimated population of 6,000 black bears over its 42,143 square miles, posting a bear density of 1 bear per 7 square miles, including urban areas. This is a high population density, but the habitat is prime and easily supports that population. Sufficient territory may be another discussion. The Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency euthanized 31 bears in 2024, surpassing previous year's averages of 19. Not all bears were euthanized due to aggressive behavior or home invasions. Many were euthanized due to ill health, injury, or disease. Tennessee does have a fall bear hunting season in which hunting over bait is prohibited and hunting with hounds is allowed in certain zones and time frames. Bear hunting is prohibited in Great Smoky Mountains National Park. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Should Brad have reported the bear to the Wildlife Agency to be hazed away from the property? Do you think the bear moved into the housing development because other territories were already claimed by larger bears, or was it desperate? Did Brad get off lucky that the bear didn't attack him in his kitchen? I will gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.